All right, so you're getting ready for that Glass Annealer interview. That's awesome. We're going to dive deep into these RoleCatcher guides today, and we're going to make sure that you are totally prepped. Not just like for basic answers, but like the kind that make interviewers go, wow, this person really gets it. We're going to hit the most common questions, and then a cool AI twist from RoleCatcher. Dan, I think could give you a real edge.
Yeah, it's all about understanding what's behind the questions. What are they really trying to figure out about you? As a potential Glass Annealer, once we crack that code, your answers will practically write themselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So let's jump right in. Question 1 from the guide. What inspired you to pursue a career as a Glass Annealer? Seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really trying to get at here?
It's about passion, plain and simple. They want to see that you have a genuine interest in this field, that you're not just applying for any open job. So think about it. Was there like a specific experience that sparked your interest? Do you have a fascination with glass art? Let that excitement shine through.
So instead of just saying, I like working with my hands, what's a better way to approach this?
Tell a story. Maybe you saw a glass blowing demonstration and it just blew you away. Or maybe you just got hooked on the science of how annealing strengthens glass. Whatever it is, make it personal and connect it back to why this job is a good fit for you.
I love that. A good story always sticks with people. Okay, next up. What is your experience with glass annealing equipment?
This is your chance to really highlight those practical skills. Have you worked with kilns before? Different types of annealing ovens. Be specific. What equipment have you used? What tasks have you done? And what's your comfort level with each?
Okay, that makes sense. But what if you're newer to this and you don't have tons of experience yet?
Honesty is key. You can mention any relevant experience, even if it's not direct. Maybe you've taken a workshop or assisted someone who works with kilns. Highlight any training or certifications you have and emphasize your eagerness to learn more on the job.
Got it. So it's about framing your experience in the best light, even if you're still building those skills. All right, question 3 gets a bit more technical. What is your understanding of glass annealing, and how does it differ from other glass techniques?
They want to see if you grasp the why behind annealing. It's not just about knowing the steps, but understanding the science that makes it essential for strong, durable glass.
So should we assume they know nothing about annealing and give them a whole textbook definition?
No, not quite. Give a clear and concise definition, focusing on the key points: heating, controlled cooling, stress relief, and how this impacts the glass's final properties. Then briefly contrast it with other techniques like blowing or fusing, highlighting what makes annealing unique.
Got it. Clear, concise, focus on those key distinctions. This next one is something everyone always gets asked. How do you ensure the quality of your finished product? It's so easy to fall into cliches here.
Instead of saying, I'm a perfectionist, which everybody claims, get specific about your process. What steps do you take to guarantee quality? Do you use certain tools for inspection? Mention specific techniques, like even things like visual checks for cracks, or using a polariscope.
Right. Show them you're not just saying the right words, but that you have a system for quality in your work. Okay, this next question is something I always struggle with. How do you manage your time when working on multiple projects simultaneously?
Any tips for making a good impression here?
It's all about showing them you're organized and that you can prioritize. Do you use to-do lists, time blocking, project management software? Don't just say you're good at it. Give an example of how you've successfully juggled tasks in the past, especially if it relates to a studio or production environment.
That makes sense. Real-world examples always make answers stronger. All right, this one is interesting. How do you stay up to date with new glass annealing techniques and technology? Why would they care about this? Because the glass world is constantly evolving, new equipment, techniques, even ways of thinking about design. They want to see that you're proactive and that you want to keep learning.
Okay, so what's a good way to show that you're on top of things?
Name drop some industry resources. Are there specific magazines or websites you follow? Professional organizations you're a member of? Online courses you've taken? Even just mentioning a recent article you read about a new annealing technique shows you're engaged.
That's great advice. And you know what else can help you stay ahead of the curve?
Let me guess. RoleCatcher's AI magic.
You got it. The RoleCatcher Your Competitive Edge excerpt talks about this cool feature that analyzes job descriptions, and it points out the exact skills that they're emphasizing.
Exactly. Imagine having a cheat sheet that tells you, hey, this company really cares about experience with XYZ software, so make sure you highlight that in your answers.
Yeah, it's like having an insider tip, helping you tailor your responses and your resume to exactly what they're looking for. I wish I had that back when I was interviewing.
Oh, it can make a huge difference, especially now that so many companies use those automated systems to screen applicants. So having your application perfectly aligned with their keywords can be the key to getting your foot in the door.
Okay, so before we move on to the rest of the interview questions, let's just pause and talk about the bigger picture for a moment. The RoleCatcher Career Guide has this whole section on career paths and specializations, and it's pretty insightful.
Yeah, it's about thinking beyond this one interview and envisioning where you want to go in this field. So do you see yourself specializing in a particular type of glass annealing? Moving into a supervisory or management role, the guide offers some pretty fascinating possibilities.
It's like a roadmap, showing you the potential routes you can take as you gain experience.
And it can also spark some great questions to ask them at the end of the interview, demonstrating your initiative and forward thinking.
All right, are you ready to tackle the rest of those questions?
Let's do it. Okay, so let's jump back into these interview questions. Number 7 asks, how do you handle difficult or unhappy clients? It's a classic, and it can definitely trip people up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Those client interaction questions always make me a little nervous, so what are they really looking for here?
Think of it this way. In the world of glass annealing, things don't always go perfectly. You know, deadlines get tight, maybe a piece doesn't turn out quite as expected. They want to see that you can handle those tough conversations with professionalism and grace.
So it's not just about being nice, it's about problem solving and keeping those client relationships strong.
Right.
So what would be a good approach to answer this kind of question?
Well, first, active listening is key. Let the client voice their concerns fully before you jump in. Then paraphrase their points to show that you understand, and resist the urge to get defensive, even if you think they're wrong.
So validating their feelings, even if you might disagree with the specifics of the complaint.
Exactly. Then focus on finding a solution. Maybe you offer a revised timeline, a discount, or like a plan to fix the issue. Show them that you're on their side and that you want to make things right.
That makes sense. You're turning that negative situation into a chance to build trust. Okay, question 8 shifts gears a bit. It asks, how do you train and mentor new employees or interns?
The leadership question. Even if you haven't had a formal management role, they're trying to gauge your ability to share knowledge and guide others.
So think beyond just official job titles.
Right.
Maybe you helped a coworker learn a new technique or showed a friend how to use a kiln safely. Those experiences definitely count.
Absolutely. So when you answer this question, be specific about your approach. Do you break things down into steps, use visual aids, offer hands-on practice? The key is to show that you can explain things clearly and patiently to help others develop their skills.
It's like being a teacher, but for glass annealing. Okay, this one sounds kind of familiar. How do you ensure that you are meeting the needs of your clients? Didn't we kind of already cover this with the difficult client question?
Well, this one is a bit broader. It's not just about handling complaints. It's about proactively making sure your work consistently hits the mark.
Gotcha. So how do you demonstrate that you're a client-focused person in general?
Talk about communication. So explain how you gather information from clients at the start of a project to make sure you're both on the same page. Do you provide regular updates? Ask for feedback throughout the process? These are all signs that you're truly invested in meeting their needs.
Right. It's about building that relationship.
Yeah.
And showing that you value their input, not just like churning out work in a vacuum.
Yeah.
All right. The final question in this set is a crucial one. How do you ensure that your workspace is safe and free from hazards?
Safety is huge. In any hands-on field like glass annealing, they want to see that you take it seriously and that you follow proper procedures.
So this is definitely not the time for vague answers like, I'm generally a careful person. What kind of details should you focus on?
Mention specific safety protocols you adhere to. Do you regularly inspect equipment for wear and tear? Are you familiar with emergency procedures? Do you always wear appropriate safety gear? Showing that you're knowledgeable and proactive about safety will definitely put their minds at ease.
It's about demonstrating that you're not just skilled, but also responsible. Okay, cool. So we tackled all 10 questions from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide. That was a workout. Are you feeling a little bit more prepared?
I hope so. But remember, these are just examples. The real magic happens when you adapt these strategies to your own experiences.
Yeah.
And the specific job you're applying for.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in.
Right, exactly.
Can you remind us again how this tech can help us tailor our answers and application materials?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about the AI analyzing job descriptions? It goes beyond just keywords. It identifies the underlying skills and experience that the employer values most.
So for example, If a job posting really emphasizes precision and attention to detail, RoleCatcher will highlight those points in your resume and even suggest ways to weave them into your interview answers.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized coach who whispers in your ear, hey, this company really loves candidates who are meticulous and show a deep understanding of the annealing process. So make sure you highlight those aspects of your experience.
Yeah, it's like having a secret weapon, especially when you're up against a ton of other qualified applicants. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to revisit the Career Insights section of the RoleCatcher Guide one more time. It had some really cool stuff about the different stages of a Glass Annealer's career.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's about thinking long-term. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? The guide paints a picture of what you can expect at each level, from entry level to senior positions.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You can really see how the responsibilities and challenges evolve as you gain experience. Maybe you start by focusing on mastering the technical aspects of annealing, then move into training others, and eventually even leading a team or developing new processes.
And that's just one potential path. You could also specialize in a particular type of glass annealing, or even branch out into related fields, like ceramics or metallurgy. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
I love that. It's not just a job, it's a whole career with tons of room for growth and exploration. So I think we covered a ton of ground today. Are you feeling ready to rock that interview?
I think so, but there's one crucial element we haven't really touched on yet that can really make or break your interview.
Okay, what's that?
It's about going beyond just knowing the answers, and showing genuine interest in this specific company and the role they're offering.
Right, so not just rattling off generic responses,
Yeah.
but really connecting your skills and experiences to what they are looking for.
Exactly. Do your homework, spend some time on their website, read any recent news about them, understand what they make or specialize in, and then when you're answering those questions, weave in those details. Show them that you're not just looking for any job, you're interested in this job with this company.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Can you give me an example of how to do that?
Sure. Let's say the company makes high-end art glass. When they ask about your quality control process, you can mention how you've always been drawn to intricate designs, and you have a meticulous eye for detail, which aligns perfectly with their focus on craftsmanship.
Or if they're all about manufacturing solar panels, you could talk about how your understanding of annealing's impact on durability makes you a great fit for their focus on long-lasting products.
Exactly. It's about showing them that you've done your research, and you're genuinely excited about the opportunity to contribute to their specific goals.
Got it. It's like showing them that you're already thinking like you're part of their team.
Right. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Remember all that cool stuff in the RoleCatcher Career Guide about the different path that you can take as a glass annealer?
Yeah. It was fascinating to see how much room there is for growth and specialization in this field.
As you go into this interview, hold on to that sense of possibility. Think about what aspects of glass annealing truly excite you. Is it the technical challenge of mastering different types of kilns, the creativity of working with different colors and textures of glass? Maybe it's the problem-solving aspect of figuring out how to achieve specific results.
Right. It's like that spark of curiosity we talked about earlier. It's what's going to fuel your passion and drive you to keep learning and growing in this field.
Exactly. Let that enthusiasm shine through in your answers. Show them that you're not just looking for a job. You're embarking on a career that you're truly passionate about.
Awesome. Well, I think we covered just about everything to get our listeners prepped for their interview. Any last words of wisdom before we sign off?
Just this. Be confident. Be prepared. And be yourself. You got this.
That's great advice. And remember, we're always here to help you navigate this exciting world of work and careers. So until next time, happy annealing.